So thank you for having me today. And I'm a landscape architect, so we are aligned. I assume there's a lot of horticulturalists, people in this room, and many more. I really like what Professor Manchai has mentioned about the ground of Mae Fah Luang University. It's actually the ground for the nations, and through my practice, I also use the wisdom of His Majesty and his mother to be part of my design as well. So thank you so much to set the ground, this solid ground for us. Also really like what Bill has mentioned, the power of plant. And we have a great conversation with Bill and Alan yesterday. How's the plant linked to the city? The smallest unit to the biggest unit alive. So I'm not going to talk about plants today. I feel very nervous with all these experts in front of me. So I'm going to approach from the city side back to plants.
Bangkok's on a floodplain from the beginning, and flooding is as part of the living. But in the past, we learned how to live with the flooding through agriculture, through building house on the stilt. We use boats, we use canals as a mode of transportation. I just feel that the being of water people is still in our culture, in our being, but we just have to shift the urban infrastructure and invest in the right direction and learn to adapt even more. Our body, fixing out those elderly, the vein of the city, the drainage pattern, the natural drainage pattern of the city. I think that would be a critical and also nature positive, because right now all the canal is a sewage way. No one want to talk about it. No, we don't even use it. But in the past, it's actually part of life. Is how we commute, how we take shower, how we get food. It's like our kitchens, it's like everything. I was one of the victims, and with millions of my citizens, like Thai citizens. So I just feel that how can I be more benefit to fix these problems? And of course, home is so important to everyone, including us as an animals or as a social being. So I just feel that by saving your home or try to fix your home to be safe is such a calling to me. After this past 100 years, we become such a big concrete city. So all of our city is built on top of floodplain. So when the city is not willing to get wet at all. So we sacrifice so much and we put so much hard infrastructure. We think about building more dams. That's mean destroying more forest, which we don't want to destroy anymore.
So that's my city, and how can I make it green? So how city define what does it mean to be green? I think all the green city meanings in this room are different. I will share mine. It's not just green, but nature. I am actually part of the Global Commission on Nature Positive City for World Economic Forums. So we work together with mayors and with many experts around the world, 15 of us. Luckily, there is one landscape architect. If the loss of nature is actually going to treat 44% of cities' GDP, what does that mean? I think Bangkok would be a good example for this meaning. In 2020, right after COVID, I went to COP. This is actually the photo from my phone. So all these world leaders making decisions on climate change, which is all of us are part of it, instead of us. At that year, I was awarded from the UN as nature-based solution to increase urban adaptability. So I went to
a new
this
industrial
conference.
revolution powered by millions of sustainable innovations is essential and is indeed already beginning. We will all share in the benefits: affordable clean energy, healthy air, and enough food to sustain us all. Nature is a key ally. Wherever we restore the wild, it will recapture carbon and help us bring back balance to our planet. And as we work to build a better world, we must acknowledge no nation has completed its development because no advanced nation is yet sustainable. All have a journey still to compete, so that all nations have a good standard of living and a modest footprint. We're going to have to learn together how to achieve this, ensuring none are left behind. We must use this opportunity to create a more equal world, and our motivation should not be fear, but hope.
Can we fix climate problem in one generation? My answer would be yes, we have to.
We need to not just to talk about what we can do, but to do what we can.
This is a challenge that we should try to solve in a quick way with a long-term vision.
It comes down to this: the people alive now are the generation to come. Will look at this conference and consider one thing: did that number stop rising and start to drop as a result of commitments made here? There's every reason to believe that the answer can be yes. If working apart, we are force powerful enough to destabilize our planet, surely working together, we are powerful enough to save it. In my lifetime, I've witnessed a terrible decline. In yours, you could and should witness a wonderful recovery. That desperate hope, ladies and gentlemen, delegates, excellency, is why the world is looking to you and why you are here.
And that is why we are here. I think this is a very important conversation that AIPH and all nations here in this room who will host this Green City opportunity through plants should listen. So my journey from plant to the city start from this image, start from this experience. This is my playground when I was little. Grow up in Bangkok. In front of my house is a concrete pavement, parking space. And this is how I play with another living things that is not human. So I love to crack the concrete and let all these plants creeping out more and more. But in reality, when I grew up, this is the size of the concrete I need to crack. This is our being in the past. This is my fun with flooding. We are water people. But this is the reality in 2011 when the most disastrous flooding in history hit us hard and still hitting us hard yearly when it comes to the rainy season. This is a whole watershed. Bangkok is there. This is a whole flood in that years, and we don't want to get wet. You can see from the map, we're dry. How could that happen? So we flood all the time. There's so much problem with rain, sea level rise, and this is Bangkok boundary. It's actually underneath the water level, the sea level. And this is how we as a Thai to go to once used to be land. And it's just decades away. I'm not talking about more than just a one people lifetime. So Bangkok grew really quickly as a city, and this is us normal life. This is how creative we are as amphibious people. This is how we fix the flooding. Very creative we are. And this is our friends. Like, very classic. When it's a big flood, the next day would be escape of crocodiles. Another problems, Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai will actually confront more severe next month about PM 2.5. We are all dying. So this is the global carbon emission. Many nations are not in that map. But when you compare to Thailand, we are the most at-risk city when it comes to climate change. The most at risk. We didn't burn that much gas from the past. So we either adapt or die. I'm just gonna skip this video. And this is my first attempt creating a new park for Bangkok for 30 years. For the 15 million people city, we don't have the new park. Maybe you have many expo, but we never have a new park for the citizens. So you can see how concrete we are. This is right downtown Bangkok. And it's supposed to be another shopping mall because the land costs $1 billion US. How could the land turn to be a park? Thank you to Chulalongkorn University. So our design is tilting the whole park and to collect every drops of rain. And to collect every drops of rain, we insert architecture, rainwater tank underneath, the wetland, the retention pond, working as one system. All this park is designed to flood. This is the wet season and dry seasons. We don't have winter, spring, fall. We only have wet and dry. So this is our wet season, this is our dry season. It's not only just for water, it's actually for people. So people using that slope to be part of the living. This is the first incline amphitheater that people can gather, the first one in the city because we are so flat. All the design was based on, oh my gosh, I wear the same shirt in 2018, yes. So this is Mr. Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary who's the #1 leader in the world talking about climate change, came to the park. Oh my gosh. It's just a big blessing to me to have this support from the UN, from this guy, that this is the right decision that the world should look into. And this is him trying to help us cleaning the water in the pond. Thank you. And I remember our conversation very clearly that I said, Bangkok is sinking faster 4 times than the sea level is rising. What does that mean? Right? We are matching the sea level rise. The park opened to the Princess Sirinthorn in 2019. And people complain it's so hot, this is not an inhabitant like parks, but this is in 2022. It's only 5 years. It's really give me a big hope that green cities can be done in 5 years. And if this concept apply to your city, to Bangkok, we only have 5 years to make the whole thing green and livable. It's not only just green, but it's about food. So this is the biggest urban farm rooftop in Asia at Thammasat University. I'm so grateful that my first 2 project is actually in the university. This gives so much hope to the younger generation that this thing can be doable, and it should be their opportunities to make this happen in that generation. It's not just about plants, but it's about food. So the leftover unused green, the rooftop over the city can turn into the food space. And where did I get this inspiration from? Any guess? Okay, I'm gonna go quickly. I only have 5 minutes left. It's actually from rice terraces. Yes. I'm sure your country know how to live with rain and cultivate the rain, create food using nature. And this is very simple. Every nation have that wisdom to live with nature, but how can we celebrate that wisdom? It's slow down rain 20 times. It can create food, not perfect. It's have dry season, harvesting season. When the schools close, all this roof turn brown. It's a new aesthetic. The beauty is not necessarily have to be colorful, complete, look great, but it's about change. And this is the aesthetic that we need to educate people further. This is how, and I really like another host for the event of the AIPH on the healing and plant yesterday. This is at the green rooftop. This is the team that working on this adaptive infrastructure left over and used for 40 years in the city. Even my generation haven't heard about this amputated bridge. And it's built like that because it's built with the bridge 40 years ago, and then the government promised that the train is gonna come. So we're gonna be the first nation in Southeast Asia to have the SkyTrain. But eventually, 40 years later, the train going to different direction and left this thing unused. So with the team, urban design, architects, governor, we shifted into a city landmark. The most unused areas, structure, infrastructure can actually be utilized and vibrant once again. So if on the way back to your country you stop by Bangkok, this is the best place for sunset. Don't go around noon, it's so hot, but go around the sunset. And this is how people of Bangkok enjoy this space. I think there's so much creativity that we need to put into the city to make it better. And it's not only just about green, but it's about blue, it's about brown, it's many other colors. This is canal right downtown Bangkok at CBD. Chongnonsi canals. Now I'm helping the city and trying to work it. This is what it looks like right now, but the maintenance is quite poor. The city still don't know how to maintain green. But this is also the connectivity to the public mass transit and using plants once again to clean water, not only just engineer solution. So this is not just beautification, but it's about blue-green infrastructure, connecting the canals, make it float again. The problem of the canal in Bangkok is being cutting and not be part of life and as a flow. This is another historical canal in Bangkok. This is very classic. When people jump into the water, they die because they drown or whatever, so the government built this China wall, small one, to disconnect people from the water. And this is homeless. They're part of us, but with unintentional design, this is what it looked like. This is the historical canal of Bangkok 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. No one can really appreciate the canals. Within these 8 meters, maybe the width of this stage, this is how many people we have to convince within the government to clean up this sidewalk. The solution is so simple, but to make it happen, it's so complicated. The bureaucrat system, we need them, we need you to make change. But this is the problem. And when my conversation with Bill and Alan yesterday, this is our conversation. This is you, this is me, this is architect, this is city. We never talk, right? This is, right? And when people approach me, are you gardener? No, I'm a landscape architect. Are you doing ornamental thing? No, I'm doing something ecology. I'm an urban forest. I'm an ornamental trees, plants. Oh my gosh. What we need is biodiversity. We need all of us together. We need your technology to plant urban forestry in the city. We should destroy this boundary. If one thing that you can remember my message from this talk, this is the key. The silo, break it. Use this expo to break all the silo. Make this happen. Make this green city happen in 2 or 3 years. Korat, right? Udon Ashitani, yes. And all the city in Korea, in the US, make this happen and make it last. This is so important. It's not about the expo itself, but it's about the citizens of that city, of your city. Just to make this thing clear is a lot of effort, and that can be doable with all of us in this room. I'm really confident. And this is the closest I can have my water people close to the canal once again. This is another government project that we try to link them with the SkyTrain. This is what it looks like. When you're going to, this is the biggest government complex in Bangkok. And every time you go, it's all traffic. So when the SkyTrain came, we want to connect them. And it's recently opened 2 months ago. But it's almost take 10 years for us to connect this low carbon development. The SkyTrain, the rooftop, welcoming plaza, going to the government, and all the ARPH is the government projects. That's what I learned. So make government, make a good example, and government itself make this opportunity in action. So this is how we approach. This is the parking space. Parking space can be beautiful. Don't make only things beautiful more beautiful. Make ugly things beautiful. This is the power of plants. So we make the EV system. I'm not going to go into the detail, but this used to be a garage, parking garage. So to connect 37,500,000 daily use to public mass transit, we need to revise this ugly garage rooftop into welcoming. We need to change the street to cooling corridor because it's so hot in my country, in my city. And this is the way we approach to the government. The horticultural expo should be our everyday living. It shouldn't be just an event. This is how we celebrate into the government projects. So it's not a screen, but it's an opportunity to make our living more healthier, more livable, improving air, water, land. This is also my advocate at COP. Audrey were there, Alan were there, Bill were there. This is not all just us talking with each other. We have to talk to other people. And this is the work with my dear friend Pamela Conrad on working with nature. And when we work with nature, we are all allies. We are friends. With UNFCCC, with UNFCCC, we create this guideline for all of you to use. How we work with nature, how we combat climate change. We're using all the nation example to become part of the guideline for policymakers and for all people around the world to use this. To combat coastal flooding, heat, inland flooding, biodiversity, food systems, carbon, is the power of plant. Take this picture, this is for download for free, and spread it all around the world. This is our work. So Horticulture Expo is a city opportunity once again. It's not just temporary, how can we make it permanent? Not physically, but mentally as well. How can we not just make this beautification, but sustainability? I mean real sustainability. Preserve wetland. Preserve what is there and make it more. This is not just an event, it's an ecology. This is the power of plants. Not just an expo, because from outer expo boundary, this is the reality of the city. And you can see, this is not only Bangkok, this is Jakarta, this is Manila, this is Penang. This is all Southeast Asian countries. And every time when I go to COP, I'm about to finish, I'm sorry. Every time when I go to COP, I see all this innovation. Anyone know what is this guy doing? It's the machine that sucks the carbon right down into the earth. It's a multi-million innovation that keep developing. But it's only equivalent 870 cars per year. Why don't we invest in public transit? Why don't we invest in some other things? I'm not sure, but this is not a solution for my nation. This is not the design for my nation. I'm so confident. This is a new version, and it's lasts 7,800 cars per year. Oh, where is my last slide? This is so important. It's probably not coming. Oops. Is the last slide? Okay, that's great. My last slide was the image of plants and forests. And I think that's the solution for my nation. And I hope for AIPH and all the mayors, all designers who are part of this movement, we are fighting our own battles to make this thing happen. But if we fight for nature, we are allies. Thank you.